Hi everyone, Linda Israel here, and I have two stamps from sets from Brutus Monroe. I have the watercolor background and the Be Brave set. So I'm going to do a quick card from Brutus Monroe. I already have the watercolor background stamp in my MISTI, and I've got a piece of linen textured paper. I just thought it was kind of a cool texture to kind of help with the watercolor background stamp. And I'm loading it up with magnets at the bottom because this is an oversized stamp. It's about almost 5.5 inches square, so you can see it almost takes up a whole square of the 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece of paper. So hopefully you can see the whole thing there on the screen. I've got some Brutus Monroe surface inks. I've got Aubergine and C. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and add some color to this stamp in a random fashion. I'm choosing just a couple of areas where I want to put the aubergine, and I'm overlapping it just a little bit to kind of help blend the cube marks that it's making on the stamp. Now I'm going to go back and add in the C and some of those areas where I know I didn't add the aubergine, and those will blend together just a little bit. I'll kind of pat that in. And before I stamp it, I have a bottle here that has alcohol in it. I'm just going to mist this a couple of times on here. That's going to help blend those inks together. And then I'm going to close the door and press. Now it's going to transfer that ink to my paper. And then it leaves that white area. So that's my first stamping. Now I've got some distressed ink from Tim Holtz. This is tumbled glass, and I just re-inked this so it's nice and juicy. And I'm going to go over the whole image with the tumbled glass. What I found was doing this step just gave it a little bit more depth in the color. And I'm going to spritz this once with a little bit of water and then stamp that on top. And now I have this really cool background that I created. Isn't that neat? Now I'm going to trim this down and take the stamp, the water background stamp off, because I have a plan to stamp more on the other. I trimmed down that larger piece of paper to 4 by 5 1/4. I have selected the Hello Sunshine greeting from the Be Brave set. I'm going to place my magnets on here to hold it in place. Pick up the stamp with my MISTI. I've got my Brutus Monroe detail ink. I'm going to ink up the Hello Sunshine. If y'all watched my unboxing video, you probably saw me trying to figure out what this stamp set and that particular phrase said, because I could not figure it out for the life of me while I was filming that video. I thought it was rather funny. I'm going to stamp this a couple of times, mainly because this paper is really textured and it's absorbing some of that ink. So I just want to make sure that I really stamp this well. And since I've got the MISTI and I didn't move my paper, I can stamp it several times until I get a good impression. Oh yes, that's much better. I'm going to take the aubergine and go around the edges of the card just to give that a finished look for this card topper. I've got some, where is it? My Brutus Monroe all-purpose craft glue. So I'm going to adhere that to a piece of purple cardstock that I cut at just under 4 1/4 and just under 5 1/2. This will be my card topper that'll fit on a standard A2 greeting card. I like this Brutus Monroe glue so far because it comes out really fine and seems to adhere my papers really well. Alright. We'll adhere the next layer down. Got some of these self-adhesive rhinestones, and I just think a couple of those would be pretty to place on the card in a random fashion. So there is a quick card using the watercolor background and the Be Brave set from Brutus Monroe, using the Brutus Monroe surface inks and one stamp pad from Tim Holtz. You can mix and match, everyone. It is okay to do that. And then some paper that was in my stash and a little bit of bling. I hope you enjoyed this little video on how to use that watercolor background stamp from Brutus Monroe. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends so others can see it as well. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. To find out more about the products that I used today, check out the link in the description box, which will take you to my blog. Thanks so much for being so wonderful to me and being a friend to me here on YouTube. Have a fabulous day and keep on creating. Bye.